Hello my Owlettes, how are you guys doing today? So I thought it would be fun to do a face-to-face video. I haven't done one in a while and I wanted to talk about my new zine. I am so excited for this. So a little history about me and the knowledge of what a zine is. I kept calling it a zine for years, and then someone said, no, it's like a magazine, like in zine. I said, oh, okay. So I actually went to an event in Austin, Texas. I guess it must have been maybe 10 years ago. It was when I first started doing art. I first introduced to a zine because I wanted to do one that I just love them, right? I ordered a bunch off Etsy and I just thought they were really cute and fun, and there were so many different styles. And well, the one in Austin was quite interesting that you really wouldn't take a 9-year-old, which my daughter has always gone all the places with me. Now that she's 19, she still remembers going and seeing some of the things that, and I remember walking up to some of the tables and they're like, oh, this isn't really kid appropriate. So, so that was my first introduction to a zine. I was like, oh wow, okay. But then as I started looking into, again, into Etsy, there's all different kinds. I've ordered some from Mindy Lacefield. I've ordered some from, I think it's Jenny Kimpton about Happy Mail. There was one person that I would order a lot of zines from that did a lot of things on Happy Mail. So it doesn't have to be inappropriate as I thought it was, kind of like this dark media type place that you would go to do these projects, but it isn't. And so anyway, fast forward to now, I've had this on my want to do list, I kid you not, for 10 years maybe, you know, like as soon as I was doing art or any kind of publication. And so to have me finally do one, I am so excited. And I thought about keeping it like, oh, I'll wait till you guys get it. And now that all of them, not all, I think I have 3 more orders in my on my site that I'm going to ship out either, well, it's going to be tomorrow because the mailman already came, but these are so much fun. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys and talk about it with you and talk about if you're interested in doing one. I'll leave the company that I had mine printed at. They don't have to be as I don't want to say this is fancy, but I've seen where they take a sheet of paper, and actually I am lying. I did create one when I was going to do an event at Planner Con. Oh gosh, that was right when the pandemic happened and we didn't end up going. So back in, I guess, 2020, I did create one, but then when I started like cutting it, you know, because you can do it on a 8.5 by 11, paper. And then when I cut it and was trying to fold it, my folds weren't right, and I was so frustrated. I was like, I'm just going to hand these out. So this is, again, fairly, and this was me doing like a cut and paste, and same as with this one. And I decided I want to do something a little bit less. I'm terrible at being accurate on cutting papers, and forget about origami. I mean, that's just, I'm not good at any of that kind of stuff. So this is my route of doing. This is not going to be my only one. I am already thinking inside about different ones, but the thing is committing to it, because that was part of my, I'm going to do it, and I have a deadline of January 1st. And actually it took me a couple extra more days, and I'll tell you, being in a rush, what happened on this one. So I'm going to tell you everything I love about it and everything that I want to do better. And that way, you know, I just want to be out there and tell you exactly how I did this. So, so I can either, I was thinking I could do it this way, or I can do it, let me, I'm going to turn the camera around, and that way we can see it all together on how to do this. And I'll talk about all of it with you. Okay, so here we have the actual zine. And let's go ahead and flip through it. So this is actually, and I'm going to do it like step by step and explain it, everything. So this is the cover to, it's a booklet, and like I mentioned earlier, I'll leave the company below that I had this printed at. Excuse me. And this is actually a piece of art that I did, and then I just kind of did some Photoshop, or I don't know how to do Photoshop, but I used some apps that I use and added my name and put Love is in the Air as the name of this Valentine Zine. And so that is a girl that she's called Heartstrings. And when you open up if you purchase one, when you open it up, there will be a postcard in there, and you could either put this in your journal, or you could frame it, or you could send it to somebody. Okay, so the first page here to the left, and this is a learning lesson. I'm going to talk about all the learning lessons that I had along the way. Is I love Valentine's, and I have so much ephemera and different things. I wanted to do like a cute little page that said Valentine Inspiration, but my photography is terrible because, for one, I'm only using my phone and not a high-end camera. So the next one I do, if I do something like this, my sister is a expert. I call her expert. She has great equipment. She's really good about seeing how things look. And so I'm like, next time I do something like this, will you help me make this a more clear, better picture? And of course, she's my sidekick too. Me and my daughter, we all hang out when it comes to Crafty World. So yeah, so she said she would definitely help. So on the next page is another photograph, and this is just a photograph of my desk a while back. I'm gonna see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. This was a photograph of my desk decorated for Valentine's. This was probably a couple of years ago, but I just loved how it looked, and I feel like it's inspiring. And so that's why I put it in here, because I really wanted something that could be used as as something that is inspiring, as well as maybe, and I'll get to it, like some activities as well. Okay, then let's see here. Okay, so then this is my Valentine that I made a couple years ago, when I do a Valentine swap every year, and I love to trade cards. Now, I don't want to necessarily make another Valentine holder, because I really wanted to have this be like an inner child thing where you play and you paint and you get messy and you make all kind of fun stuff. But I do plan on coming in here and adding a little bit more trim, because I'm not sure why I stopped here on my trim, to be honest with you. But you can see it's paper plates, and it really is trying to bring back the feels of going to school on Valentine's Day and exchanging Valentines with your friends. So that was the vibe I was going for. And then I talk about how to make it here in the box. And it's basically using an oval plate and cutting one in half, and then you can glue it, staple it. I sewed it, so I think I glued it and sewed it to give it some texture. So that's in there. One of the things I'll change for next time is the font here is so small. Again, when I was developing this, I couldn't really tell on my computer that it was so small, and so next time I definitely will use more larger font. Is just some things I'm kind of making note to myself. On this other page here is art inspired by this photo. Is a photo of my grandmother. This is another piece of art. This is my desktop a while back, and then I had drawn this. This is one of the girls I used in several of my kit. I know in my kit, and I know in the CWR sticker club, she was this last November's girl, but I added some Christmas to her and Christmas to the stickers, and so that was more like sending mail at Christmas. And so yeah, this is a picture of my grandmother. I don't know if you guys can see, and she's cute. She's leaning on a mailbox, and I love using old photographs of my family members to inspire art that I create. The next page is a little history about the heart-shaped box of chocolates. I did get this information off of the Cadbury history of Valentine's chocolate box, and then also on the Cadbury a little bit of history from their website as well. So I did acknowledge them down here, but this is just some things I thought it was really interesting to find out. How did we get to heart-shaped boxes. So that's a little story on that. I love history, so that was part of the reasoning to putting that in there. And then this is another little prompt to do. Have afternoon tea for 2 or for 1. I might be doing 1, I don't know yet. But this is something I will be doing in the next week or 2. Is just making my space pretty and pouring myself a cup of tea and maybe do some journaling or, you know, any reading or anything like that, just to make it a little bit special tea time. And then of course have like what to serve is have like cookies or breads or cakes, which leads to the next one, next page, which is your red hot Valentine cookies. Oh my gosh, love these cookies. I actually was introduced to one of my coworkers made them, and she made it at Christmas, but when I Googled it, she gave me the recipe too, I think, but I think on the Google, the recipe person that I used, she had it at Christmas, at Valentine's. I said, oh, that makes total sense because red hots. Now, I had to go to a couple of places to find the red hot candies. They weren't at my local grocery store, which where our grocery store is called H-E-B. So I did end up going to Dollar General and finding them. This page, these are actually vintage postcards, old postcards from like 1908. I have a box of postcards that I go through and I've hoarded for probably 20 plus years. They belong to my great grandmother, and she did a lot of correspondence in the early 1900s, and it was all done by postcards. So I go through those every once in a while and look at them, and I have used several of them over many years in my journals where I scan a copy. I don't actually use the originals because I feel like I want to keep all that in one space. But these are three of them that were in that box that are Valentine love related. And so what I did was I put these hearts on the back. This was some more of my artwork, but that way if you guys wanted to cut these out and use them in your journal, you could. So that's the meaning behind that. And then this is a girl that I created a while back. It was a coloring page that I gave away as a printable. I know you probably can't tell on video, but when you get it, you'll notice she's two-tone, like she's kind of got a darker yellow. I think it's because she was on a sketchbook, but I don't know why the legs turned out more white than the body. So, I don't know. Again, when I uploaded it, I could not tell. So, I'm not really sure how I would fix something like that, but I definitely will give it a whirl to fix next time. And somebody else was, I guess I showed it to my family, like, oh, we really didn't even notice. And if you color it, it's going to be different. But in my head, you know, it's not exactly perfect the way I wanted it to be. So, not to point it out, now you guys are going to be like, oh yeah, she is two-tone. But if you color her, she's going to be pretty. And I put all these bows. Aren't they cute? I love bows. I put all these bows on the back page. So if you do color her, you can cut her out and put her in your journal. Or you can tear this out and add it as a tip in and color her and put it in your journal, and then you could have this as a background. So that was the reasoning behind the hearts and the bows. And then this next page is actually a art piece that I put together, that I had drawn, or actually cut and drawn. It's a mixed media piece. This artwork is actually made with cut paper, so everything in it is I made it on little canvases, and I did a whole series of cats on the fence, and so this was one of those art pieces, and I just thought it was perfect for this journal because I really did want to share a lot of my different types of arts and really make these zines, you know, stand out as my own, I guess. And so everything in here it will be based on art with me. Bringing it to the final page. Okay, so it started out as a mess up, but I think it's a win in the end. So what happened is underneath here you'll see that it has the same image as here. These are envelope seals. They were actually meant to be, if I have a little note underneath here that says cut and paste, because in my head, again, I wanted to make this like an interactive zine where you could color in it, cut it out, those kind of things. But when I was doing it, I was like, oh, well then you would have to cut up, let me find the page here, you would have to cut up the cat. And I know that you may not want to cut up the cat. I wouldn't want to cut up the cat to do these labels. So I ended up making envelope seals, cutting them, and I just put them in here with little dots. So they're actually stickers now. And so I really think that's kind of really nice actually, because now this little zine came with stickers. So I think that's fun. That it was, like I said, it was kind of like a mistake, but in the end I really like the way that it turned out. And then the last thing is me. And as you can see, I have blonde hair here. But I just wanted to kind of have a little space just so that it kind of like an introduction and where to find me if you were to purchase this, you know. I do know they have like a Houston zine place, like a organization, and I kind of wanted, it was actually just a couple months ago, and I was like, oh, that would be fun. But again, I'm kind of like, oh, is the zine world? What is the zine world? I mean, is there like cutesy fun stuff like this, or is it all that adult kind of stuff? Anyway, each is their own, right? And so, and then on the back is my logo. So that is it. That is the that's my first new zine. Again, I do plan on doing more of these. This was so fun to put together. And yeah, all it does is put yourself a deadline, make yourself do it. There's so much information out there about them, and they're really anything goes. So, so yeah, so I hope I enjoyed. I do have some in the shop. If you're interested, I'll leave the link below. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you guys to see if you like it or not. All right, y'all have a super sparkly rest of the day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.